Francis Scott Key Bridge, part of Interstate 695, partially collapsed overnight. It happened when a large cargo ship struck the bridge. The vessel was leaving Baltimore for Sri Lanka. You can see the footage there. The bridge just topples into the water. The local Coast Guard received a report of an impact at 1:27 a.m. According to the Associated Press, emergency responders are searching for at least 7 people who are believed to be in the water. Right now, it's too early to know just how many people overall were affected, but the Baltimore Fire Department has called the collapse a developing mass casualty event. Baltimore Mayor Brandon Scott tweeted earlier that he was aware of the incident and was en route to this collapse site. NBC News correspondent Ryan Nobles is heading to the scene for us, joining us by phone. Ryan, this is obviously just happened a short time ago. The footage here is hard even to fathom just how quickly this massive bridge collapses into the water. Tell us, what's the very latest? What do we know?
Jonathan, I just arrived at the base of the Francis Scott Key Bridge just outside Baltimore, where the bridge has obviously been completely shut down. They are cut off traffic in and out of the area around the bridge. We are currently staging an immediate staging area that is right near the bridge. It is still dark right now, so it's hard to determine just the scale of what this tragedy will end up looking like. From my vantage point right now, I can tell you that there are emergency helicopters that are circling the area around where the bridge stood. We know that there is Coast Guard and local first responders that are in the water right now, trying to determine whether or not there are victims to be rescued and the scale of just how many people were impacted by this. This obviously happened in the middle of the night, so not during a time where there would be an unbelievable amount of traffic. This normally is a very, very well-traversed bridge. This is one of the main arteries in and out of Baltimore. This is a major flow of traffic during a busy part of the day. Because this accident happened at such a slow time of the night, that is hopefully going to limit the number of people that were impacted by this. But we do already know that law enforcement officials and first responders do believe that there were cars on the bridge at the time of the impact and the collapse, and that they do believe that people were impacted by it. This is obviously going to impact traffic in this area in a major way as people start to wake up and realize what happened here. There are all kinds of different staging areas around near the bridge where people are being diverted and sent in different directions. There are signs as you're pulling up to the bridge telling you to avoid the area if at all possible. So there's a number of logistical and obviously emergency response aspects to this that are still playing out in real time. But at this moment, I think that we're not going to really begin to understand the full scale of the devastation here until the sun starts to come up and we get a full accounting of it. But this is a developing situation, Jonathan.
Yeah, certainly. Ryan, as you noted, this is a major thoroughfare just south of downtown Baltimore. There will be tremendous impacts for the region in the weeks ahead. We're seeing still images now of this twisted metal of the collapsed bridge in the water. But of course, paramount is human life. And we don't know, as you said, some reports of at least 7 people who were on that bridge when it fell. We don't know yet if there were work crews also involved. Ryan, is there any sense as we start thinking about this bridge? It's been a couple hours now since the collapse. The water temperature, it's been cold last few days in the Northeast, in the Mid-Atlantic there. Are rescue teams or officials saying anything at all about whether they've been able to spot any survivors?
No, there hasn't been any sort of official indication as to just how serious the potential loss of life or the rescue effort is at this point. We are expecting some sort of immediate briefing here in the next hour or so. We've been told to prepare for that. But the specific time that that's going to take place has not been fully communicated to us yet. But in terms of, the just the conditions. It is cold right now. It is in the 30s here in Baltimore. The water has got to be even colder than that right now. I don't have a specific reading of what the temperature in the water would be at this particular moment, but it has to be freezing. We've been through a bit of a cold snap in this part of the country, but from a precipitation standpoint, it is clear there's no rain or snow or anything along those lines that would inhibit the rescue effort. So that is somewhat of a saving grace in this situation. But it is cold. It's going to be a very difficult situation to try and do everything they can to rescue people, especially given that, as I mentioned before, it's still very dark right now as they begin that process. So obviously, it's just the scale of this incident is hard to fathom. If you've ever been to the Francis Scott Key Bridge, this is not a small bridge. This is a significant bridge over a major thoroughfare. And the volume of the bridge that collapsed is just hard to wrap your mind around. So the work here is this is going to be a weeks-long project, years-long project to try and recover from what was.
The Francis Scott Key Bridge opened in 1977, and as we've been showing, struck by a vessel en route from Baltimore to Sri Lanka a few hours ago, collapses into the water. Sunrise in Baltimore, 6:59 a.m., so we still have almost another 2 hours of darkness, which will, of course, that darkness will hinder rescue efforts. NBC's Ryan Nobles, thank you so much.